Hey guys, if you've ever been interested in doing artistic photography featuring the human form, in this video, I'm going to tell you how to get started. Now, even though you may be thinking this is something that you're interested in exploring, you might not actually be able to imagine yourself doing this type of photography if you've never had experience with something like this before. Uh, and I think everybody starts off that way. The first shoot that we do like this, I mean, before then, we don't have any real experience with bodyscapes or artistic nude photography. So you're always coming from a place of little to no experience with something like this. It's not that you have to just dive right into your first shoot. There are steps that you can take along the way. All right. You may feel that you're willing to give this a try, but a little uncomfortable. And there are many reasons why that could be true. A lot of them have to do with not just how you feel about it, like what is this gonna be like? What is this gonna mean to me? But a lot of it's gonna have to do with what you think that the other people are gonna perceive when you're working on photography like this. So other things come into play, like the perceptions of friends and family and your partner, and even yourself. If you have religious beliefs, strong religious convictions that you think might conflict with this type of photography, then this is something that you're going to have to deal with and figure out on your own. I would suggest that if you have a partner, a spouse that you think might be a little unsure about you doing photography like this, you sit down, you have a talk with them, and maybe go through some of the steps in the process that I'm going to cover. Go through that along with them so that they're exposed to the same information that you are, and they can help you, make a decision about going this route, and maybe even support you along the way because they'll know what it's all about. It's not going to be just if you're a man and you're married to a woman, it's not just from her perspective, it's not just going to be, oh, now he's taking pictures of naked women. If you're doing this the right way, this is about artistic expression and really nothing else. Now, if you do decide to at least explore the potential for this, I would suggest that you check out some references, and these would be art books. You can go to the photography section of a bookstore, check out some art books, maybe the library, and some websites. There's plenty of websites that feature bodyscapes and fine art figure studies and things like that. You also might want to seek out some instruction before you even go any further with this. So that could be videos, courses, and books. I actually have some resources available that I can provide to you, and I'm going to talk about that a little later. Now, okay, let's say that you've gone through that part of the process and you've decided to make the leap. You're going to go ahead and give this a try. And before I even go on, let me tell you, once you get started with this, your first shoot, you get that out of the way. This is something that it becomes very easy to do, very natural. You're not going to struggle with a lot of the questions that you had before your first shoot. Okay. After you get a little instruction, and you've done a little research, I would suggest that if you've got someone available to work with you, ask your partner or a close friend, a trusted friend, to pose for you. And that doesn't mean that they've got to take everything off. Okay, you can actually get started and get some practice in with someone wearing something fairly modest, like just something just showing their midriff. And work with that part of the body, just the lower torso area and where it curves into the hip. They can, be wearing jeans and a crop top, and you can just focus in on that part of the body and get a lot of really good practice. And that's where a lot of the bodyscape work is done anyway. If both of you are comfortable with it and you're a little more adventurous, try a swimsuit, like a two-piece, and you can get a lot of practice in with something like that. All of that's going to be up to you and your comfort level at this stage of the game. All right. So when you do this kind of practice, you're probably going to get some really good examples to get started with, to show other people, other models. When you start working with them, you'll have some work under your belt, even if it's just like 3 or 4 pictures. You'll have something to show that helps you with credibility. It can go a long way. Now, if you're lucky, the person that you have to work with, who maybe isn't a model, is just someone close to you, a friend, a spouse, that may be all you need for a while to get a lot of good work under your belt. But by the time you get to the point where you want to start working with other people, start working with different body types, you're going to want to work with a real independent model. And so your next step would be a model call. What I would do is I'd post a model call on Model Mayhem, maybe even in more of a public space like Craigslist or a photographer model networking community in one of these groups, like one of these Facebook groups. Sometimes if you know that a model is doing this kind of work, you can reach out to them directly via Instagram. But what you'll do in this case is basically explain to them what you're wanting to shoot. Just tell them, if you're working on bodyscapes, just tell them I'm building my bodyscape portfolio, and so I'm doing some of this work. Show them the examples that you've got, the pictures that you've taken for practice, just to let them know that you're just not some guy with a camera who wants to get somebody in front of their lens and get them to take their clothes off. This is something that you've actually practiced and that you're at least somewhat good at, and you just need a little more practice. You want to build up your portfolio. And you can work with models on a TFP or a paid basis. There's plenty of people who will be willing to pose for these types of pictures for you. And once you get a couple of shoots under your belt, that way now you've got some variety and you can create a little art book or some wall art or an online portfolio. And that just basically helps establish you as an artist in this genre. And, I don't mean that it will pigeonhole you. It'll just be another thing that you do well. And this will help you with your credibility with other models so you can find other people to work with. The cool thing is that a lot of this closely ties into nude figure work and boudoir and things like that. So this can even help you with booking paid clients who are interested in photography like this of themselves, either just for themselves or for their partners. Now, I can tell you, when I started off with boudoir photography several years ago, I eventually got requests from people who wanted some fine art nudes of themselves. So yes, this is something that people will definitely pay for. So I can tell you, if you are interested in this type of fine art photography, it's not only possible, but it's pretty easy to do. And I actually have a great training guide that'll get you up and running really quick. It's my 2 ebook bundle, which includes some bonuses that'll put you on the fast track to doing your own beautiful fine art bodyscapes and figure work. The link to that is below this video. Hey, I hope you found this video useful, and I hope that I kind of encourage you to at least give this type of photography a try. It's really rewarding and can even be profitable. All you've got to do is just get started, kind of expose yourself to it, see if it's a type of photography that is for you. All right, that's about all I've got for you today, guys. See you next time.